Donald Trump is under multiple investigations and attacks from the left. As I've said before, it's almost overkill. And when you have overkill, you begin to suspect that the guys who are flinging multiple arrows are flinging so many arrows because they don't have a single arrow that's sure to find its target. There's a kind of searching here for something that they can get him on. And the latest comes from Letitia James, who is the New York Attorney General. And she is trying to get Trump really for his business dealings that long precede his ascent to the presidency. So this is not about colluding with Russia. This is not about taking classified documents. Those, of course, are supposedly offenses. I think they're fictional offenses, but they're offenses nevertheless that are timed within Trump's tenure in the presidency. But, or at least in the campaign leading up to the presidency, in the case of Russia collusion, Trump was colluding with Putin, and all of that turned out to be nonsense. But here what Letitia James is saying is that Trump's business, the Trump organization, overvalued its assets in applying for loans from large financial institutions. Wow. First of all, it should be said that all these loans that Letitia James is talking about have been fully paid back. So this is not a case where Trump took loans, he couldn't pay them back, he's somehow refused to pay people back, he owes them money, none of that. The argument is simply this, that in order to get the loans in the first place, Trump exaggerated the value of his assets. He gave them, if you will, a higher appraisal than they were truly due. And the point I want to make is that as I think about it, this whole business of appraisal is a very elastic business. And it's recognized to be so. People are often appraising things according to the purpose of the appraisal. So my son-in-law, Justin, for example, recently bought a house. In order to buy the house, my stepson, what did I say? My son-in-law, I'm sorry. My stepson, Justin, recently bought a house. Well, to buy a house, you have to get an appraisal. And if you're buying the house for a certain amount of money, the appraised value of the house must at least equal what you're paying for it. Otherwise, you basically have a problem. So the appraisal in that case is tailored to the purchase of the house. In divorce settlements, when people fight over assets, typically, let's say, for example, the husband and the wife are fighting over the value of the house that's going to go to the wife. Typically, each of them will hire an appraiser, and the husband's appraisal will come in high. Why? Because it's tailored to the interests of the husband. It attaches a greater value to the house, so more is being assigned to the wife, and the husband will be compensated in cash or in retirement assets. And the wife will typically hire an appraiser who appraises the value lower. Why? Because she wants to show that she's getting less. When you have in estate cases, typically when heirs inherit property, they hire appraisers, and the appraisers tend to value the property low. Why are they valuing it low? Because first of all, the heirs want to pay less in taxes. Second of all, they actually want to show, particularly when there's a division of assets that's going to multiple people, that the thing I got, whether it's a piece of jewelry or whether it's a physical asset or whether it's a car, I'm getting less in terms of that particular car, so that ultimately, if there's a true division of assets, I need to also receive the balance in cash. The IRS, when they appraise property and they appraise assets and when they do audits or when they conduct assessments of the value of businesses, again, use a variety of different techniques to appraise the value of something, and the very presence of multiple mechanisms of appraisal shows that there is no single straight line rule that your property, your hotel is worth X. Well, your hotel may be worth X or Y or Z, depending on not only on current conditions, but the expectation of future conditions. Are more people moving into Atlantic City? Is Vegas growing or is it shrinking? And so the idea that Trump overvalued his assets to get a loan, remember, it is the job of these financial companies to decide if that appraisal is worth giving Trump a loan on. All we're dealing with here are the normal subjective practices of business, and Letitia James is trying to criminalize them. This gives you an idea of how pathetic the case is against Trump on this count, and the other cases, the other arrows, if you will, seem to me not likely to fare any better.